Yeah, there's only a tiny bit of bedding in the stable, so. Far end of that one. Lizzie, you look thrilled to be here. No.
So first up of the week was our intermediate dressage test. We actually qualified for the intermediate and the open dressage test, kind of accidentally, but we decided to pull out of the open. So this was Lizzie just doing her intermediate test. So it was actually meant to be my other horse who did area dressage, but she went lame, so Lizzie subbed in and accidentally qualified, so we gave it a go. This was her first thing of the week, so we just kept it really chilled, kept her nice and loose and flowing, because she's not a dressage horse and she gets a bit upset if you ask her to collect too much. But she smashed it, she was such a good girl. And then later on in the day we had the 100 Pony Club Show Jumping Team Championship. And she went really nicely in the show jumping with one pole down in the first round and then a couple of poles in the second round, which was actually the biggest track that we have jumped together. Our first round started off a little bit kind of flat, we were lacking a bit of energy, but then she picked up. Ignore my lower leg, I am going to glue it to my saddle because it drives me mad. But we did knock one pole down there, but she was absolutely perfect. And I will openly admit I am not a show jumper. I am a dressage rider through and through. So quite honestly, I was terrified jumping around these fences because they were huge for me. I am much happier within the whiteboards, unfortunately, but Lizzie does love the jumping, so we have to compromise. But she went really well. I was so pleased with her. Biggest track to date, and the atmosphere and everything, and she just was not bothered. She had a great time. And then moving on, it was day 2, ready for our eventing, show jumping and dressage. She warmed up really, really nicely and went in and did a very relaxed test and absolutely smashed it out of the park and got our best score together to date so far of 26.2%. Which it's interesting to see because Lizzie gets marked so differently in pure dressage and eventing dressage because, you know, she doesn't have the most steady contact. She's a bit stiff. She occasionally opens her mouth, which the pure dressage judges slate her for, but the eventing judges are a bit more understanding because she is an eventer at the end of the day. But she was such a good girl and came down the centre line knowing that that was one of our best tests together, and luckily the judges agreed. And then she popped around the 90 show jumping and did a lovely clear round. Again, we started a bit flat. I need to pull my finger out because I am a wuss. But once I got the hang of it, she absolutely flew around, had a great time, and yeah, did a lovely clear round. Which this then left us in 4th overnight in our section. And then it was on to our 3rd day, and this was our cross country. Bear in mind, this is our 2nd cross country round together ever, and she's had 4 years off having foals, and our first cross country was actually areas. So she popped around. Unfortunately, we had a couple of steering malfunctions at a couple of the tricky combinations, so we did end up with some faults, but honestly she jumped amazing and I couldn't have been happier with her because we are both quite rusty. Me more than her. She was like, I know what I'm doing. I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. But we got home safe and she was happy. And so at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for.